Welcome to this week's Rockies 2-Minute Warning. We're into week 7 of the NFL. Been an interesting week for transaction-wise. Of course, the undefeated Detroit Lions got knocked off this week. But let's talk about Carson Palmer. Was this a good trade for Oakland or not?
Time will tell on that one. Oakland didn't have any draft picks left to do anything with, so they gave up their first-round draft pick next year and probably a second-rounder in 2013. But Coach Jackson all year has been preaching to the Oakland players that this is the year, the time is now. So they had to pick up a name quarterback. So it certainly made sense. I think it's a pretty good deal for Cincy. The quarterback sitting on the sidelines, getting them nothing. It looks like Dalton's going to be their guy. So I think they pick up a first-round draft pick. Their team gets even stronger.
Now, what about Green Bay? Are they in cruise control towards the Super Bowl berth?
Oh, I don't think there's any doubt about it. I mean, they've gone on the road this year and beat the Bears already. They beat New Orleans on the road. You look at their schedule. The only real tough game they've got is in Detroit on Thanksgiving Day, which we'll be watching here at Rockies at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. But then all the good teams basically come into Green Bay for the rest of the year, so they could do an undefeated season. What do you think about that one?
Well, obviously they're going to have to keep an eye out for San Francisco or Detroit. Detroit did get knocked off this week at home by San Francisco.
Did you predict that one, by the way?
I certainly did not take San Francisco. I'm staying with Detroit, and I still think Detroit's the better team, but San Francisco certainly played above themselves. I think it'll end up being an NFC championship between Detroit and Green Bay, so we'll get a precursor of that on Thanksgiving Day in Detroit. So, what are your 3 picks for the week?
There's a few games this week. I'm going to take Dallas over St. Louis. Dallas coming off that loss in Foxborough that they should have won. St. Louis is a weak team.
Did Tom Brady look incredibly average, or is that just me?
He's looked average the last few games. They had 4 turnovers again against a pretty good Dallas defense, but they're starting to put the ball on the ground a little more than I expected. But you know what? When the chips are down, he's going to come through, as he did in the final drive of the game.
And I'm still playing him in my fantasy league.
Yeah, I wouldn't let him go. Indy, New Orleans, easy bet on that one. Green Bay and Minnesota. Talking about Minnesota's starting Ponder quarterback. Their center's out, possibly one of their other offensive linemen. So they're third in rushing this year. So a couple of guys out on the front line and a rookie quarterback starting. I don't give them a prayer. What about you?
I'm going with Cleveland over Seattle in the week's biggest boring game.
You going to watch something?
Pretty sure I'm not going to be tuning into that one, but go Browns, go. The dogs are in the house. Detroit over Atlanta. Detroit will get back on track after last week's disappointment. And I'm going to go with Pittsburgh over Arizona.
What your upset?
My upset is, I'm going to totally turn on you here. I believe that Indy, with that great young quarterback Painter, he's actually going to have a game and then defeat New Orleans.
There's a call.
What about your upset?
Chicago and Tampa Bay are playing in London.
Wembley Stadium.
Exactly. Chicago doesn't leave for London until Friday. Tampa Bay's there already. So just based on that fact, I'm going to take Tampa Bay.
Wow, that's a good football pick. So those are our football insights for this week. Also coming up this weekend, there's 2 games at Harbor Station for the Sea Dogs. So don't forget to come uptown and support your local bars and restaurants.